What's up? What's up? You hear Coach Mike up. We going baseline to baseline with the head coach and assistant coach from the Waukegan girls varsity basketball team. Please introduce yourself, Coach.
Coach Kanisha, Pettis, Waukegan High School basketball.
Coach Henry French, first year assistant.
Awesome. So take us baseline to baseline on what your journey was as being a Waukegan community member, an athletic player that came through here, it came through these doors and actually did your thing on all many levels. Like, I'm so proud of seeing your journey. I'm happy to see you in this position. Just take us down that memory lane.
It just means a lot to me because I'm born and raised here. You know, I'm an alumni of Waukegan, and when I first came back here, relocated back home, I came and I started as a volunteer here, and I just kind of saw what they were doing, and I just knew that my time would be coming, and I have a chance to put my mark on and restore some of the pride back here in Waukegan.
Awesome. What about you?
For me, my basketball journey started in Zion, actually. But Waukegan was always integrated, so I didn't play high school basketball in Zion. But during that time, I would come and play AAU for Coach Skeezy at the field house. And so, yeah, I was always integrated with Waukegan. And then the same kind of happened in my work career. I would apply for jobs in the Zion Bend district, wouldn't get them, and then Waukegan accepted me. So basketball has always been a part of my journey as well, especially in Lake County. In college, I went away to HBCU in North Carolina, Livingstone College, redshirted there, came back because I wanted to play at College of Lake County. Got a scholarship to Trinity International, went off, played professionally, and now I'm here giving back. That kind of started coaching with different AAU teams, Limitless International Basketball out of Barrington with DeJuan Wells, and then I was training with Andre White, and then I started coaching with Future Elite. I was actually coaching with Future with Andre before I went to Limitless, but then in that training I just stayed ingratiated into the Waukegan community, and then as I got a job at the high school, obviously working alongside Kanisha, she just, said, hey, I would love for you to come out and just stop by and see us practice. And once I started to do that, I was like, all right, well, I got to be a part of the family. So last year I was more so a volunteer. Now I'm officially coaching.
Some of those doors, those same doors, they open for me. But Coach, I know you don't really expound on your career. Talk about your career as it started here at Waukegan.
I was a 4-year varsity basketball player here at Waukegan. I went on to play a year at Lincoln College in Lincoln, Illinois, and then also at Minnesota State University, and I finished my career at Harrisville State University, which is a HBCU. And like I said, once I came back here and I relocated back home, I started coming in here and just basically seeing, what they were doing and what was going on, and I just insisted on just putting my mark on what was going on here. I knew that if I just got that one opportunity, that basically I could make some things shake around here. And I'm just so happy about it and grateful for this opportunity just to be part of my hometown team. And it just means so much more to me because I am a Bulldog.
There you go.
I just love this for the city. I love this for our kids. And basically, it's just everything to me right now.
And I know, he expounded on who helped him open up those doors to start coaching. I know when you were younger, you was a player, but far as did you ever expect yourself to start coaching at any level, or did you think about that as you got older? Tell me more.
I can't say that I really, as a kid, per se, saw myself as a coach. Basically what happened, I just kind of started being around the game, and I realized, I do get decent knowledge of the game. And then basically I just love kids. I love to elevate. I love to, be that person that they can go to. And it just kind of fell in place for me. And I just love what I'm doing. I just feel like, very lucky person to be doing what I'm doing right here in Waukegan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. So, I'm going to ask you this question now. She expounded on some, how would you describe the culture and standards you're building in the program with the head coach?
I would say just trying to push further the standard and the culture. She said she always, when I came in, it was a family culture. Things were very transparent as far as what you expect of the players and what you're bringing. And so just by them, some of them knowing me from training with me when they were younger in middle school, elementary, they knew that I was bringing expectations of excellence and hard work every day, and just trying to get better. That's really my focus. Like, if we're trying to get better every day, there's no way that we're not going to see the results that we're expecting. And that's just how I was taught. Like I said, by guys like Skeezy, by training with guys like Andre White. And then there's that level of confidence that, no pun intended, that dog that you got to come in.
There you go. Not the DOG, right?
No.
The DAW. Okay, just want to make sure.
That you got to come in with. And so that's the mentality that I'm trying to bring to these girls. And you see it like when we on the bench and we coaching, and it's that passion that we're coaching with, because like she said, like our playing time is done, but like it just transferred into coaching, like not even intentionally. Like that's just, trying to pour out your knowledge into the kids. Like that passion goes with that knowledge. And it travels on the bench with us.
And I know you come from a strict household in the sense of there's structure, there's identity, there's all of those noble things. I've watched your father, I watched your brother, I've watched that. So, tell me, how did you approach this situation when you got that opportunity?
Well, honestly, when I got this opportunity, I was an assistant at the time, and I had just enrolled in school for my master's.
Okay.
Then our head coach, she resigned and she went over to Deerfield, and it kind of, hit us by surprise. We didn't see it coming. And the athletic director, Ms. Herbach, she gave me a call and she said, "Kanisha, I don't want to interview. I just keep hearing you the person for the job, and I want you to take it." And so I told her, I said, "Well, give me a couple hours and I'll get back to you." And the first thing I did is I called my dad. And I said, "Dad, basically they offered me this job here, but I don't know what to do. I just started grad school. I don't know if I'm gonna have the time." He said, "Babe, you have to make it work. This is your opportunity. This is something you've been longing for, and you will figure it out." And basically I stepped up and I did that. And I'm so happy that I did. I just feel like this is just like a dream. It's like a dream to go to a school and mean something to a program and then come back and lead a pack. And that's everything to me. And I'm just so glad that I took that.
That you took it. That's awesome. And just in a one word, a power word, how has this opportunity shaped your philosophy on coaching?
It shaped my philosophy as far as, the way I approach the kids. Like, I try to put into them what was put into me. I want them to have that heart and that confidence and go out there and just compete and basically be the best person that you can be, the best player, and basically just showing them that love, also letting them know that this ain't just about basketball. This is about, shaping and grooming young ladies to do something more. And like I said, I'm just so happy to be in the position to do that. And it's just, I know I keep saying, but it's everything.
No, I believe.
I really just, this is everything, and I'm having the time of my life right now.
That's awesome. And I want you to tell me the real, the honest, the truth, because I know you deserve it. And that's why I'm here for it. This is your moment, Coach. And I'm coming over to you. That same powerful, what is that philosophy, that basketball philosophy? It could be one power word. It could be, that you got in this position that you've learned to teach to others, or you learn for yourself, self-reserved yourself. But give me that. I want the real. What's the philosophy behind it?
If I could sum it all up in one word, it'll be payback.
Okay.
And you could use that either way, you know, like when somebody do you wrong, you getting your payback, or how I'm seeing it now is, you know, I'm just paying it back to what was given to me.
Absolutely.
Like I said earlier, didn't make the basketball team in high school, so I feel like the further I push my basketball career, that's just payback for being doubted at that time. But also the further along that I go, I'm just paying it back to the community that, you know, gave me the opportunity. Like I said, when I didn't play at Zion,
Right.
Waukegan welcomed me with open arms.
Absolutely.
So I feel it's only right for me to pay it back to Waukegan. So I should tell you, like, I used to tell them, like, I don't like coaching. I rather skill train. I rather be a trainer. But when the opportunity presented itself how it did, it was kind of unfortunate how it happened. I just felt like it was my opportunity to, again, pay back the community that
just to say no. It's like, you know, why would I say no when this is a yes moment?
Especially seeing how much passion she pours into the girls, into her job. I couldn't just leave her out there by herself, knowing what I could bring to a team. It just didn't feel right to turn it down. So I had to take that opportunity and help out.
Absolutely. So, Coach, what do you feel at this point now that your players need most from you as a leader?
Confidence.
Okay.
Confidence. We have got to a place where we're legit and, you know, we're coming into our own. And I just got to make sure that I maintain that level of confidence within them, just making sure that they go out every game and approach it and expect to win, and basically just leave it all out there. So, you know, just that confidence, and also I would say just the love also.
Okay.
Because my kids, if they don't know anything else, they know that I love them. They know that I go hard for them, and it's not too much that I would not do. And because of that, they reciprocate.
Absolutely.
They reciprocate that to me. And that's just something that I learned very young. Whatever you put into something, you get out. And so basically, like I said, I restore that confidence in my kids, and I love them hard. And in return, they go hard for me.
Now, I think that's what made you such an incredible basketball player, too. It was personable. You had the community of people that supported you, that loved the way you did everything, loved your family. So I feel like that right there, you only could pour that into, because that's been embodied in the principles that help you become the person that you wanted to become. So, and I'll ask that question to you as well. You know, what do you think as an assistant the players need from you most?
Boys. I think that's what I learned most from my coach at Trinity International, Coach Boomer Roberts. We'll get into these moments where we deep in the conference games, we right there in the rankings fighting for the top spots, and it get down to the fourth quarter and he tell us, as long as we within 5 with 5 minutes to go, we right where we want to be. It don't matter if we up 5 or we down 5. We got control of the game, and we'll get into these situations where maybe the team just made a run and you could tell the guys are kind of rattled.
Mm-hmm.
And we come to the huddle and the coach is just poised. He always had this saying, keep it roses. So I know personally, like, I had a moment like that where, man, I wish I would have reflected on that, or we just had a game. And I told Shay this, like, it came down to a last play, and we went with one play, which wasn't a bad play. But if I'd have had a little more poise in that huddle, I would have been able to think through and think to a play that we had that's a for sure hitter that would have won us that game. So just me having that experience in that moment, I know I have the poise the next time around, but that's the word for me, just having poise.
You learn something from that, you know, and you gain something from that as well, you know, so that's incredible for you to be honest about it all, you know what I'm saying? Coach, what matters the most, details, habits, or image?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.
Let's go! Work! Who's who? No! That's off him!
Coming live tell you, baseline to baseline.
One ZB to another.
And with Coach mic'd up and going baseline to baseline on my new podcast.
Basketball is just the vessel I use to teach you about life.
Appreciate that baseline to baseline moment. Subscribe for new content coming soon, weekly and monthly episodes. Peace.
You know how it go. Living the dream. I mean, I'm just really cool, calm and collected. When I get on the court, it's different.
Time out!
I'm just here helping them to get to be who God destined them to be.
Habits.
Okay.
And I say habits because if we're in the habit of working hard and training hard and doing things the right way, if that's habitual, everything else would kind of fall in line. Having good habits, if you always practice the way you want to play and you have a habit of just doing stuff a certain way, like all the other stuff will take care of itself.
Okay. I had a chance to watch your players yesterday, and I mean, this was my first live game, but I seen some incredible things happen. I seen some solid plays. I seen some things that I don't see from a lot of kids where you look up the floor first and pass that ball, make that additional pass, and that was just something good for me because in the realm where kids believe that anybody can make it to college, it's the simplest things that get you in those doors and get you on that bench to actually get that chance to play. And I think a lot of kids nowadays and a lot of structure of training is taught to just score and dribble and do this when it's really the fundamental things that keep you on the team. So, with that question, I asked that same thing for you. What matters most, details, habits, or energy?
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, and I would have to agree it's habits because you can have a habit of being detailed. You can have the habit of coming with high energy every game, but if you just come with energy, you might not be detailed in your energy. So we just had a scrimmage across the court here where our girls was playing with high energy because we were scrimmaging against the boys, but with that, like that could be used against you. So you overzealous trying to get a steal on defense, and I'm gonna use, as a good basketball player, high IQ, I'm gonna use that against you. You lunge for that steal, I'm attacking, and now I'm gone, right? Or if you too detailed, that means you real
overthinking, right? Yeah,
you're
so overthinking it.
But if you got the habit of just being detailed and having good energy, then you'll know where to put that and where to place that. So I'm gonna say habits.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't look at Coach. What you think about Coach energy? She got good energy, or is it that time?
For sure. I think we got a good balance because Coach, for one, she don't sit during the game at all. I don't know if you peeped that. She does not sit at all, and I'm gonna stay sitting. Well, I take that back. I stand, and I gotta be told to sit.
Okay.
But at the same time, we get into these moments where Coach is the player in her feels the moment, and she's ready for the girls to do something. And I'm more nonchalant. I'm chill because I'm seeing how it's unfolding. And I'm really just trusting our coaching that I'm going to have faith that they're going to do it. And she has the faith too.
Right.
It's different when you have to watch that. Right. You just got to hope that they execute the way we told them
to do it.
So her coaching style is definitely unique because a lot of people that get in these positions, a lot of them don't have the experience and the knowledge. Some of them just, feel like they watched enough basketball or grew up around basketball. Coach has that experience, and that, I don't want to say it gets dangerous, but again, you will fall into the trap of, man, I know as a player, this is how I would play this possession. This is what I would do. And that kind of gets you anxious about seeing it because, again, you can't control it. You can't affect it while it's happening on the court.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I feel like I'm like the yang to her yin. You feel me? So
Coach, and that go to you now, because now, and it's gonna all work itself out. So how do you communicate through tough moments? So y'all may even disagree or have an agreement on something, but you as the head coach, of course, that's first.
Like he said, we yin to each other's yang, because sometimes I do get anxious in Palace, and he talks to me like, Coach, we're gonna do that, or we're gonna come through that, or we're gonna take care of that, or she's not gonna foul, or whatever the case may be. And like, he draws me back, because I already explained to him, I don't sit. I feel like if I sit down, I'm out of the game. I'm too far removed. But like, when different things arise, we can, communicate it and take the happy medium, because I trust him and he trusts me.
Okay.
Like, I know that, whatever he said is what he feels is best for the team, and he knows that about me too. And we have that understanding that basically it's about the girls, it's about the success of the team, and we always figure it out. And
awesome.
There's been times where, he'll be saying something and I may be saying something else, and I'll take that time, maybe 1 or 2 possessions, and I'm like, yeah, he's right, we're gonna go with that.
Let's go with that.
Or vice versa. And it just works for us, because it's not a pride thing. We both have the understanding that we both have good knowledge of the game, we both have experience, and we're here for the same thing.
Absolutely. And y'all can see the same thing, just from 2 different visions. And that counts for something. That's why you got assistants. That's why you got the head coach. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, I know, me being a head coach, I see things, but my assistant sees something else. And I'm like, no, I see it, but you need to take that time out to balance. Understand that I put this person in position because I trust them. And I want them to make these type of decisions, because it's going to come down to that one time where you're not.
Yeah.
And I need you to be that way. So I respect that. How do you balance accountability with confidence and trust in these players?
Just talking to them direct.
Okay.
Like, my players know that I hold them accountable, and I have standards for them. And when they're not meeting it, we basically talk to them direct.
Okay.
We let them know that it's not something that I feel that you can't do. I'm letting you know that's what you're not doing.
All right.
And we need you to get to that in order for us to, do what we need to do to get this game. So, and basically, when you hold them accountable, as long as they know that love is there, and knowing that I'm backing you and you got me and I got you, I feel like that's worked for us.
Okay.
So with our 9 players that we have, they do have that understanding that we do hold them to a standard. We are watching, we are critiquing, we are letting you know, the stuff that we need from you and what we're not getting. And when you are giving it to us, we let you know, and we have that same energy. So kids don't feel that we're putting too much on them. No, you're accountable for this portion of it, and I know that you can do it. I've seen you do it. So, that's that balance that we have, just kind of talking them through it and basically going to them directly and demanding of them, whatever.
What are you saying? What's your balance? Like, how do you balance that? As assistant coach, she's direct, and I know too many direct individuals can spark controversial from so many different aspects. So how do you piggyback off a coach?
I think as far as the confidence piece, you have to applaud the players as much or as more as you critique them.
Okay.
So if you just critiquing all the time, well, now they feel like you doubting their game, or you just, always the negative coach. So I make sure I'm high-fiving our girls. I'm applauding them. I'm letting them know good shot, good pass, making faces. I jump off the bench when they make an exciting.
That energy.
A couple of them times at the game you was at, when you spoke about they made those passes ahead, I'm jumping, or I'm letting them know that was a great pass, or they look over at the bench and I give them a look like, yeah, that was one of those. So that's the confidence part of it. The trust part of it is they have to see you holding everybody accountable. So I get on our best player just as much as I get on one of the girls on the bench, just so the girls on the bench don't feel like, oh, you just getting on me because I'm a bench player. No, I'm holding the best players accountable too, and they see that. Like I tell everybody where you was wrong at, or where you failed your team at, or where you was too lackadaisical at. You feel me? Like, so you just gotta hold everybody to the same standard, and then do it transparently too. And then when you do that, when they do something good, don't tell them behind closed doors when you just critique them in front of the whole team.
Right.
Give them that same shout out in front of the whole team in public, so they could see, okay, he held me accountable in front of the girls, but he also shouted me out when I made that good pass, or when I stepped up and took off, so.
Absolutely. And who do you lean on in those tough moments when it's not going the way that you want it to go, and you need a cross reference of an individual that can come in and give a player, or maybe another coach or a parent, that information without where you being confident that it's going to get across the right way?
Well, like a lot of times I talk to coach about it, and we come to some kind of solution. But also we had the luxury. I got a couple of my close friends,
Okay.
personal friends that's just around our team, just other positive Black women, basically, that's doing something, that's putting on for the city, and they're another source of reference to talk to some of our players when they go through stuff, or when they're upset about something. And sometimes they might be a little, upset about something that I may say, because like I said, I am direct.
Right.
But at the same time, my kids know that, I match that energy when I'm giving you that same praise. But like I said, I do have other women that's involved with our team that's not per se coaching, but they are mentors, and they're people that's put in place just to, basically give another shoulder for our kids to lean on,
So,
another outlet, or somebody for them to talk to.
and honestly, at the end of this, what do you want your players to walk away with? Like, what do you want them to gain? Being a part of Waukegan, the Dog Pound, there's a legacy that come behind this. There's a lot of athletes that came before you, and there's going to be many more that come after you and I and everybody else. So, what do you want them to walk away with? Like,
Basically, like, when they're done here, I want them to, just have that sense of pride, and always feel like they're a Bulldog, always know that this is home. And also those different life skills, that bite down, being able to get through adversity, being able to stand up when stuff is not easy. And that's just stuff that you learn on the basketball floor, but you translate that into life. And I'm real happy with the 3 that are leaving this year. I know that they're going to go off and do a lot of good things, and a lot of that stuff came from right here.
absolutely.
We're building that. We're teaching them toughness. We're teaching them how to, basically, say whatever you need to say. Basically, stand on your own, and do whatever needs to be done to get the job done. And I feel like we're doing a good job with that.
Absolutely. Thank you. And far as you've been grandfathered in, but Waukegan has been a second home to you, so
Absolutely.
with you and your input and your leadership being a part of this, what do you want these young ladies to walk away with at the end of this journey here at Waukegan High School?
Like Coach said, pride for sure, integrity, but also a sense of accomplishment. I think, looking back on my journey, I have pride in the things that I accomplished, and that's what makes me want to, one, give back, but also continue to push further, because you can look back and have confidence in what you did. Like, man, I actually did make it through that, or I did do something with that.
Gotcha.
So with these girls, even just this season alone, like, treading through this dreadful season, when you got these good teams like these Libertyvilles and these Lake Zurichs, and you look back and you say, man, we did that with 8-9 players.
That's
something.
That is
That's
real.
something to be proud of.
That's tough.
Like she said, especially our 3 seniors, they pushing through, and it's a lot of expectation on them. It's a lot of expectation on our point guard. It's a lot of expectation on our shooters. It's a lot of expectation on our freshmen. She plays good minutes, and so when you look back at this season, I want you to feel like you accomplished something. We gon' cut down some nets. We gon' raise some plaques. but then look back and know that you did it with your teammates. You did it all out. Like, you didn't take no shortcuts, and you did it without no handouts. We don't play no games where we get favor from the refs, and we don't ask for none either. Just call us a fair one. And if you ain't, just don't stand in our way. And if you do, don't feel bad at the end of the game when we victorious, because we won't. No, and we won't. And that's how we coach them. Like, we tell them when we going into these towns, like, look where we at. Look around. Look at this crowd. Look at these refs. Like,
just giving them getting them prepared, basically let them know, be prepared for anything.
Be prepared. You see what the scene is.
Exactly.
So don't be expecting nothing. You get that foul call, don't look at the ref like, what? No, you come on, man. And that's, so again, but that's the poise that I spoke on earlier. But yeah, just that pride, that integrity, and that sense of accomplishment.
That's everything. And going to a couple more of these questions, you started here when? Let them know, when did you start as the head coach?
I became the head coach of Waukegan in 2023.
In 2023.
Yes, and I won one game. My first year coaching. But what I did accomplish, and it was quietly, it was nothing to be talked about. What I did accomplish is I know that those girls that I had, they got better.
Right.
It was a lot of stuff that I saw at the beginning of the season that towards the end of the season that we improved upon. I know that it was something to be built on, and that next year, we won 11 games, and each year it has gotten better, and that's because we built our own brand. I'm starting to now get kids that actually want to come here and
be a part of this legacy. Yeah, be a part of it.
For that,
it was hard.
Basically, had to build our kids from the ground up, and that's something that I took pride in. And it's a few people in the community that I could give shout outs to, like Jimsy.
Absolutely.
He always had my back. He came in here and worked with these kids with me. Like I said, Coach French, even before he was on the payroll, he came in and he worked. He worked with these kids, and they saw what I saw. And it just feels good right now to basically have it. We're at a point now where we go into games and we're the favorite. And I just feel like that's because of, the dedication and the hard work, that we put in. And then the kids that I have that's seniors now and, or even juniors, when they started out, we didn't start here, but they stayed with me and we worked and
developed and got better, huh?
Greater later. And it just feels good. And like Coach said, we do have expectations to cut down some nets this year and to get a plaque. And that's all because of what we have put into these kids. And we really feel like our kids have a lot of what we have. And that's gonna pay dividends. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I like that. And your first, like you said, your first season you spoke on, you saying one game. And being totally honest, beyond a coach and a person, did that make you feel like you wanted to quit as the head coach? How did that make you feel, like personally, to do that? Because I know that's a hard feeling, because I've been in a situation similar to that, coming into my first tenure as a head coach. I got a few, but I was totally like, oh, man.
No, it didn't make me want to quit. It actually made me want to, go harder and basically, get things rolling. And at the time, like, I had some little gems and some kids that I know would turn the corner, that I know would get better, and that I know that if we just put into them, we could do what we needed to do, to be better. And I also just felt like, I had to be better as a coach. I had to start doing a little more homework. I had to start putting a little more in. And I knew that I would get more out. But no, I didn't never feel like wanting to quit. I felt like, I got to get my get back.
That's right.
So, what I really bring to the table, what I can really do, with this program. And like I said, it's not just me, it's a we.
Right.
I have some people, behind the scenes that's working with me. I got Coach French over here. And like I said, I really feel like we got some of the best around here in this area as far as what we give to these kids, and that's on and off the court.
That's what's up. And I know ain't no quitting in the Pettis, so I'm glad that you gave us that answer. That was great. As the assistant coach, do you agree like 100%? You can give your input because I know this was your beginning tenure of you being in a position like this. So expound on that.
I can say as my first year as an assistant, I already knew the competitive fire that she was coming with. So she spoke on, how things was kind of ugly when she first started. And so again, that's the passion that I spoke about that made me want to help. Like I know some coaches that's just out there just getting a paycheck.
Right.
And so I'm not coming in with my knowledge, with my passion of the game and helping you if you not fully invested. But because I know she's fully invested, I've seen her come out her pocket, buy shoes for girls in need. I watched her practice after practice, take girls home who, may not have a ride home or whose parents may be working late or whatever the case may be. When I see that type of passion and that dedication, I feel like the least I could do is come in and give my
fully committed, huh?
And help and be all in. I be in here scrimmaging with the girls just to help them. Like we said, we got 9. So if I got to make 10 so we can get a 5-on-5, I'll do that. That's cool. Let's go. Let's roll. Like I played ball and I'm young. I'm 31, so I can still get out there and help in whatever way that's needed. So I totally agree with what she said, but it's good to come in and be on this side and help push coach towards her goal of, again, cutting those nets down. And I know when she do it, it's going to be an overwhelming moment for her. And I want to be a part of that. So that's why I go as hard as I do.
Absolutely. Well, what have you had to let go as a coach? Now that you the head coach and you in this situation, what are some things, because we going to go beyond basketball. I want them to know, what are some things that you had to let go? Because you in this position, like you said, you had to start learning more about the game. Even though you always been a student and a pillar of the game, you had to learn it from a different dynamic now.
Yeah. Just seeing it from a different lens and kind of stepping out of all player mode and, just having that balance. And also, too, what I had to learn is what's understood don't need explaining. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times before, when I was younger, and least experienced, I used to want to explain and really care about a lot of the chatter and what people think. But what I had to do is basically put my head down and focus on what I needed to do and eliminate a lot of the outside noise, because people going to talk, people going to critique, people going to say this and say that. And, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. And I had to understand that basically this is the position that I'm in. And in order to get what I want out of it, I have to block all that out and focus on the job. And that's something that came with maturity for me, because I'm very outspoken. I say what I mean and mean what I say, but at the same time, learning that sometimes it's no explanation needed and not saying nothing and letting the work show is something that I feel like it's helped me get here also.
Absolutely. What about you, Coach? What have you had to let go? Now that you're the assistant coach, you're working with the young ladies, as a male counterpart, it's good and bad too, because with young ladies too, they play at a different dynamic than the boys. So, what are some things on and off the court that you had to, let go?
I think off the court, I had to just let go of like outside, like leisure activities.
Okay.
And not even nothing crazy, but just like if you're going to be, again, I'm on payroll as a paid coach. I can't just be out doing everything because, again, the girls need my energy. They need my focus. So I have to limit what I'm doing outside. So
Absolutely.
Really for these last couple months, it's just been work, family, basketball.
Absolutely.
And on the court, I think maybe not what I had to let go of, but what I had to grasp a hold of more is just patience. Because like you said, I'm working with young women, and they do have mood swings, or they might get emotional if they feel like I came off too hard, or it might be different with coach being direct with them versus if I'm direct with them.
Absolutely.
I'm yelling and screaming. So those are things that I had to kind of take heed of and really learn to navigate and kind of limit, or understand my boundaries as I'm coaching with these young ladies. Yeah.
Man, I know you said, outside things was never, the influence all the way, but what was your routine, your morning routine? Because I know coach like to get up in the morning and get busy. So, did you have to get up in the morning, or you normally a morning person?
No,
you getting up?
Me playing pro, like that's actually and I didn't even think of that. That's something I had to let go. Like, and it's not even a bad thing. Like, I haven't had time to go work out by myself. Like, I always was in shape. I always was, whether I was actively playing or not, I was always training, working on my basketball skills, because I cannot help somebody else get better at that game if I'm not working on mine, if I'm not sharpening my skills. So I haven't been in the gym as much as I would like to be, because I got to make sure I got the right energy. So I can't get up at 5 a.m. I ain't gonna say I can't get up at 5 a.m. and work out, but I know if I do, I probably got less energy after work because of the job.
It's a strategy, right?
Yeah, and where I work. So that's just a noble sacrifice I gotta take, or I gotta learn how to navigate. I may not have to sacrifice it next season. I may just have to learn. Hey, probably when you wake up in the morning, you probably can just get you a couple miles in on the treadmill, and that's it. Ain't no hitting the weights, and now your body tired and you don't really want to bang around with the girls. No, so I just think that's another thing that I had to kind of pull back from, just so that I can see where and how I can implement that into my daily activities. So yeah,
absolutely. Coach, right now, what are you still learning in this game, and who are you learning from in this game of basketball? We got a plethora of great coaches. We got a lot of instruction that we didn't have. Internet is viral everywhere. You can get everything, but talk to me. Details.
A lot of my philosophies just come from me and how I was raised and my way of thinking. However, I do I read stuff on Gino Oriema. I read stuff on Don Staley, and what I like about her the most is her sternness, but also like her passion and her love for her kids. Like, just about every one of them, when they leave there and they go on to be in the WNBA, which she has breeded a lot of those players into, they have that, they're still a Gamecock. They still have that pride. They still have that love for her. And that's because of the way she loved them. And understanding that love is not always chucks and giggles.
Right.
Sometimes you don't like what I'm saying.
Right.
Sometimes you might not be feeling where I'm coming from, but knowing that I'm steadfast on it, that I'm staying with that, and I'm on you, and I'm letting you know, look, you got me, I got you. So at the end of the day, we have to come to some agreement or some kind of 50-50, because nobody's going anywhere anytime soon. And that's just kind of my philosophy, and that's why I say hold the kids accountable and being direct. But being direct does not mean disrespect. It does not mean being mean. That means I'm letting you know right in your face, like, what we need from you. And I feel like when kids get better and they turn that corner, they have a complete understanding of that. And it's a different kind of respect, and it's a different kind of love, because they know that what you put in, and you were able to take them being a little upset with you, and then you go back and you think about it, you reflect, you say, yeah, coach made me upset, but coach was still right there once I did what she asked me to do, once I turned that corner, and look at it. So that's just what those are the people that I watch. I watch a lot of basketball, and like I said, those two coaches, I do take some of their philosophies. I've read things on them. I've watched them interview and stuff like that. Like Don Staley, she had that whole, it was like a 10.
Her book, the new book, or is this?
They did a documentary on YouTube.
Okay.
For their journey for the national championship the year before last. And I just watched that from start to finish. And from the beginning of that season that they won the national championship, she started off with love. And basically, like I said, my kids know that I love them
Dearly.
You know, it's not too much that I wouldn't do. And because of that, I feel like I get along the rope to hold them accountable. They have a better understanding because they know, like, I would never leave you out in the cold. You would never not have a ride. You would never play for me and not have gym shoes on your feet. Like, I'm going to do that. And in return, you're going to give that same love back to me when you play.
Now, this can be controversial, you know. Do you feel like the kids that are spoken to more directly turn that corner better than those who are fed not in a direct sense, but offer things like monetary or sacrificial things that they feel like, oh, this is how somebody show that they care about me and they love me in the sense of how I play? Because let's speak about gym shoe teams. A lot of kids don't want to play for programs if they not branded or this, that, and the third. So I know a lot of great coaches that are heartfelt, communicate with the kids, show them that they love them and give them all of the sense of things that I feel is necessary, but it's still not good enough. Right. I think that a lot of other kids go in a different direction. Talented kids especially, they want to be with programs that have something to show versus what is being said.
My big man look a whole lot better because of the creation of screen, the passing over the head.
No, I mean, that's just a testament to the type of kid they are. You know, how you were raised or whatever goes on in your household. And, you know, just quite frankly speaking, I do have some kids that don't receive me being direct as good as others. But like I said, when they realize that you got me and I got you, you have a better understanding, knowing that this is how I'm coming. And at the end of the day, I'm not going nowhere and you're not either. So we have to come to that median. And I feel like over time, it does transition to being that, you know, and you do have to have that balance. So like I say, yeah, it might be kids that would go somewhere that's more with the glitz and the glamour, you know, versus a coach being direct and being there for you. But in this situation, the kids that I have, they are learning to deal with that accountability and the coach being direct. And I feel like when they go on to the next level, they will have that balance because that's the kind of love that we gave them here.
Absolutely. And I want to get your recipe from that too. You know, who and what are you learning from in this program, outside of this program? You know, let us know, like, let the world know. I want to know.
Most of my philosophy and things that I teach came from my real life mentors and teachers. Like I watch people like Gino. I look up to, I ain't gonna say I look up to, but I study coaches like Doc Rivers, but the things that I implement would come from a Coach Skeezy in terms of teaching heart and confidence. The detail that I teach with, it came from training with Andre White and him telling me, hey, we working on this move, but when you doing this is what you should see, and this is how they're gonna react. And when they react like this is how I'm gonna counter this, and I'm countering it because they gotta take this angle to. And so just getting that amount of detail from Andre, and again, learning about passion and playing with pride from Skeezy, and even my coach in college, Coach Boomer, I think he's the one who helped me with my detail the most. I mean, not with my detail, but my defense the most. And so just those three things, like the confidence, the heart, the detail, and then the defense, it'll be from those three guys, Coach Skeezy, Andre White, and my coach Boomer Roberts.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
And also too, like Coach said, it is a lot of homegrown stuff. Like, you know, I have to, for one, shout my dad. I have to shout my dad. Jimsy, you know, those are two people that, you know, a lot of times when stuff go on, you know, them the first ones that I call. And they always give me some kind of resolve, some kind of something to reference. And, you know, and then too, like a lot of this get back that come from my dad. So early mornings, late nights, out there in the back, you know, not coming in the house until I'm X amount. So
Love it.
Not being able to go to the next step or go into dinner until I make that free throw, whatever the case may be. And then back to, like you said, the glitz and the glam of it too. My dad did that also. Like Shay, when y'all play Maine South, if y'all get them, you know, and you do X, Y, Z, them Jordans, you got them, or this and this and that. So all those kind of things played in. So I have seen both sides of, you know, just the accountability piece and also, you know, the glitz and the glam and the bribe of it. But yeah, overall, you know, and my sister.
Okay.
You know, we grew up playing ball together. She's 3 years older than me. We played 1 year here together. And that was everything. Like I said, she the one that started me, you know, even wanting to play basketball, just watching her play, you know, with the boys in the neighborhood. And it's like, you know, I want to get out there and do that.
Let me do it.
Start playing. And I was smaller than everybody, so I perfected shooting outside. Right. That was my thing because I couldn't go on the inside. They're going to block.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but just those things like that, you know, those are the people that shaped me. Jimsy, my dad, my sister. And then, like I said, there are famous people that I take philosophies from, but that heart and that get back that came homegrown from my family.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Jimsy, who helped me as well. I also want to shout out Coach David Osborne and rest in peace Dale Yard, bro. I gotta shout out the guys from Zion who helped me get introduced to the game of basketball. But yeah, Skeezy was definitely super instrumental.
You know, I mean, and I share those same sentiments, you know, as she can say, you know, she knows me directly. I was a little older than you and we missed each other, but, you know, she'll tell you, you know, Mr. Frazier, that's my father. You know, LaRon, that's my brother from another mother.
Man, one of the tallest point guards I've seen play the game, man.
We practically had one of the best teams under like age, young. We were kids. We had a group of guys from all counties, from over here in Zion, Waukegan, mixed with a little North Chicago.
Sure. Shout out to your class too, man, because one thing I will say about y'all class that's kind of been dying down, when I was getting into basketball, y'all would still be up at the field house playing in the men's league, playing at the Southside Y with us. And that kind of gave us that dog, you know, getting beat by y'all, but still having to be forced to play against y'all. And, you know, Skeezy ain't going to let you down. But you can't come back in the gym. So you got to take that. You got to take that beat.
Right.
Definitely shout out to y'all. Shout out to the LaRon Frazier's, the Gators, everybody. Rest in peace to Gators.
Absolutely. Rest in peace.
But yeah, I watched y'all. I watched Dre, and I was like, damn, like this what real basketball is, man. Like these guys going at it. Shout out to Fred, my guy Fred from Zion. He was one of the first ones I seen dunking the ball like crazy. That made me want to dunk. Shout out to PlayStation, man.
It's a lot of Keondae. It's a lot of guys. You know, we can go on. You know, this definitely is something. And I want to give, you know, thanks to the whole county in itself, because I came from Chicago and I was brought in like a son, and everybody, you know, I love this place. That's why I want to come back and share flowers with those who shared those same flowers with me. And that's why I made this segment, you know, about you all, and especially Coach, because she's done a fantastic job since I've known her, and I've known her young. And I mean, to see the balance, to see where she's grown maturity wise and everything, that means so much for me to be able to through this right here today. So I'm going on my closing remarks. I got about 2 more questions and we're going to end this. And I think this was emotional and real and genuine. Far as outside of basketball, what brings you joy and help you reset from all of this?
My family. My family. I'm real big on family and just camaraderie and love. Like a lot of times, like Coach said earlier, especially this time of year, it's really nothing else to do but work, basketball, and spend time with family. And that's my unwinding time. That's what I do to reset and clear my mind, is hang out, with my family. Just as you can see, my nephew, he's here at practice with me today, just about every day, or a game, or whatever the case may be. And so I'm really big on family and keeping my loved ones close to me. And that's really a lot of my pastime. I don't do a lot of hanging out
Or
and
any of that?
stuff like that.
Anybody else behind the scene that help you reset? You got a dog, you got a animal, you got yeah. You don't like pets, so sorry.
My friends too. I do my friends, we wind down, we shoot the bobos, we kick it.
Right.
But, basically
It's
this
family.
it's fast.
It's family.
And they're my friends and my family also. But this right here is really my love. And I'm coming to find that out more and more. It's like I look forward to a lot of this stuff. So, this is really what's keeping me going, honestly, because I'm at this time of the year right now, I'm tired.
Right.
Everything is good. Get to practice or a game, you get home late nights and
You gotta lay down and reset and come back to it. So I love it.
But it's like at the end of the day, it's the love-hate thing, because I'm loving it. I'm just feeling,
You're grateful. You're grateful for it,
I'm just feeling so blessed to be in this position, and I'm gonna make sure I stand up and keep doing it every single day until the job is done.
What about you, Coach? Outside of basketball, what helped you reset?
Man, my faith and family. I think I've been blessed to see the things that I've seen, experience what I've experienced. Like I said, not playing basketball in high school. I played freshman ball, but not playing, no sophomore, no varsity.
Right.
For God to bless me with the opportunity to play in college and then continue on and play professionally, like in my mind, that's unheard of. And so I'll be feeling like I owe it to God to keep pouring into these kids, to keep trying to impact as much as I can. But then also my reset is like Coach said, family. For me, it's my son, who I'm about to go pick up as soon as we done with this interview.
Absolutely.
But man, like Coach said, you really ain't no reset until the season's over with. It's just that understanding of this is the grind, and you kind of understand that as a player too. Like, your reset got to be the love for the game. While you in the game, like, you just got to love it, and you'll get your reset. You'll get your breath of fresh air, when
that time is over. Yeah, when that time is over with.
Last second tick off that clock. And so, yeah, that's pretty much where we are now. We understand it's a grind, and once the final buzzer sound on one game, we looking straight ahead to the next, or we worried about, what we got to do at practice. But as far as a reset, it would be, my faith and my family. That's what keep me balanced.
That's awesome. When you long gone, Coach, when it's all said and done and everything is to the rest and it's on to the next one, what do you want your community, the people, the players, what you want them to remember about you the most?
That brought some of that fire back to the Bulldogs. I want them to remember that, take that in, and also too, just that, how I cared and how I, really took pride in my job, and how I really loved my kids, and how I showed up every day.
How you showed up. What do you hope to carry in life beyond basketball?
Yes, passion.
Right.
Passion, consistency, and just that will, because you need that, basically with everything. You could always run into a plateau or a wall and to where you want to just kind of throw the towel in. But just having that passion, having that fire, having that get back, will basically carry you through. And like Coach said, that faith too.
That faith, yes.
Like I'm not into church like I used to be or I should be, but I do have that faith and I do have that understanding. I do know who carries me.
Absolutely.
And I won't forget that. I won't go too far away from that faith. My grandmother or my mom will let me anyway. But it's those things, that basically just keeps me going.
What about you, Coach? When it's all said and done and it's wrapped up, the book, what you want your community, your players, and everybody that have known of you, what do you want them to remember the most? What do you feel like they need to carry on?
I think with me, they're gonna remember that he wrote his own story. Like so many times you will run into a situation and you feel like, it's over for you or the story's been written and that's just a page or that's just a chapter in your book. Obviously God is the author of our stories, but he gives us free will. And what that means is, you can so much so to a point kind of determine your outcome. And so I could have gave up after high school, that could have been it. And I could have, just graduated, worked a job and whatever, but that I didn't see that. I didn't have that in mind. And so I just had to figure out how to get to that next point. And so I think that's one thing I want them to remember.
And what do you hope to carry into life beyond basketball? You spoke about your kid, I know.
Beyond basketball, man, I would say faith. Like, with God, all things are possible. So I had to have a strong belief that without playing basketball at high school, like I was gonna make it, and you have to walk by faith and not by sight, because I couldn't see how I was like I ain't have no journey, and I couldn't see it, and so you had to have that faith, and so I haven't always been as deep in my faith as I should have been, or as vocal about it, but I've gotten better with that, and I see the more that you give God his just due, the more that he blesses you in your journey. So
prosperous, prosperous. And my final question: what does baseline to baseline mean to you as a coach and as a person?
All out, 100, from end to end, like no shortcuts. Just basically the grind, getting it done. I could say from end to end. So baseline to baseline, that could mean from here to there, but that could be from here to another 1,000 yards, but taking every step, not making no shortcuts, just going from start to finish and getting there.
Absolutely. What about you, Coach?
Absolutely. From end to end, that's what that means to me, all the way through. You got to see it through. If you played any sport, your coach said that to you when you was running. I want you to run all the way through. Don't cheat me. Don't start jogging when you get close to the end. No, push all the way through. So that's what that means to me.
Well, I want to thank y'all both for being with Coach Mic'd Up and going baseline to baseline, my new podcast. I'm looking forward to so much more. I'm expecting a lot from you all in the future now, and we want to always bless you and wish you nothing but the prosperous future and everything that you do. We want your family to prevail. We want your families to prevail. So thank y'all again for coming out and supporting me, and till next time.